Welcome to the On the Landing podcast. Conversations from St. Louis's historic riverfront, where the past, present, and future of the landing come together through the people building it.
We're here on the Landing podcast, and our guest today is Camille Jackson. She is the owner of the Cobblestone STL, our local market deli coffee shop. So welcome, Camille.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Camille and I have known each other for a while, being in the neighborhood on the Landing.
Yeah.
So just wanted to learn a little bit more about your story, because I think a lot of people in St. Louis, in particular, think of the Landing as honestly, I don't think they think about it.
I don't think they think of it. I think that's, yeah.
It's been forgotten. So that's kind of one of the things we're trying to do with this podcast and other things is bring people's attention to what is happening here, to let them know that there is a revitalization happening, that there are business owners who are excited about the St. Louis riverfront and how we can all kind of work together to create this neighborhood, this entertainment district to bring people back. So I just kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about your background and the start of the Cobblestone, which is just a lovely place. It truly is like a community hub. We are drinking our Cobblestone coffees, which are delightful. I usually start my morning with a Cobblestone coffee. But so tell me just a little bit more about your story. How did the Cobblestone come into existence?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many layers to that, honestly.
Yeah.
It came into existence very organically, very naturally. The community built it, to be quite honest. So originally, one of my business partners was like, "Hey, I think you might be interested in something. It's down on the Landing." And I was like, "No, thanks." Right?
Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. That was kind. As a lot of people still do today, right? The last time I had been on the Landing had been over 15 years, and my perception was that it was unsafe. And so, I was like, "No, I'm good, man." And he was like, "No, I really think you should go down there. There's a lot of development." So I ended up meeting up with Brian and Gretchen of Advantis Group. I met them for about an hour, walked the Landing, and I was like, wow, I see it. I see the vision. I think this is viable. I think that there's something here. And so then it was, what does the community need? What does the space need? And so I went and I knocked on every door that would answer, honestly, every loft here. And they said, "What do y'all want to see? What can we do for y'all? What do you need?" And just very naturally, organically, all these different things started popping up. We really want to have a cafe where we can go and get, breakfast, coffee, but where we can work. It's about we want to be able to work as well as live.
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, great, can do that." They're like, "But we also need to eat, like something more than breakfast."
Very important.
Right,
Very important.
turns out. And it's like, no, not a problem. We want to be able to have meetings, and we want to be able to unwind or take a break, whatever that looks like. It's like, great. So then it was, a bar wouldn't be a bad thing. And so I was like, great. Okay, so coffee, restaurant, bar, got it. Super easy. And they're like, "Oh, but the most important thing is a market." And I was like, I don't know anything about a market. I don't know how to do that. And overwhelmingly, everybody, of course, now we all know, right? Duh.
That was a big thing that people wanted.
Yes, and so I learned about it. But truly, the Cobblestone ended up coming up very organically because the community said these are the 4 things that we really need.
So you came into the neighborhood with an idea of starting a business, but it sounds like it wasn't fully defined.
I had no idea how I would be able to fit in to the Landing, quite honestly.
Okay.
And so that was this process. Honestly, has been really, really humbling, in the best way possible. Because, you have an idea, right? And you're like, "I think this will work," and you never know until your community lets you know. And so I've been very, very fortunate with our community. That was they were honest and said, "This is what we want." And
yeah, so it's kind of evolved. So you started with a plan, but then probably made some decisions along the way. Because when did you open exactly?
We opened June 2023.
23. Okay. So we're
And
coming on
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. And we ended up opening up in phases, actually.
Mhm.
So we had just the deli and lunch, and we were only open for 3 hours. As anybody who's ever done construction knows, that there's always something that's delayed.
Mhm.
And finally, the community was just like, please give us something. And we
Mhm.
were like, please, let us give you something.
So I'm guessing the coffee evolution came.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do because I didn't know what to do.
Sure.
Honestly, what I saw, so originally this, truly again, the concept came up organically or developed organically through our community. All I knew is that I wanted to invest in my city.
There you go.
I love St. Louis. I love St. Louis City specifically. Just the culture here is so fantastic. The loyalty that we have for not only St. Louisans, but anybody who wants to be a St. Louisan, right, is just beautiful. And so I knew I wanted to do something more. I wanted to help out more. I just didn't know how.
Sure.
And I was just very fortunate. I had, again, a business partner that was like, I think I found something that you might really like.
And your background has been in the restaurant hospitality kind of space, right? So
Yeah.
so it was kind of a natural
Yes. Yeah. Progression
for you to move into this.
Yeah. So, and I mean, since I was like 14 with a worker's permit, right? I've been in and out of this specific industry and retail and corporate and everything in between, just kind of trying to figure out, how to really help out and invest in my community. And then I found like-minded people, my investors, the other owners of the Cobblestone, who were like, yes, absolutely. We want to help out. We want to invest in the city as well because they believe in it too. And I think that's just like a really big thing about what the Cobblestone is, I started with a very small community and said, hey, y'all, I think I have an idea. And they said, well, good luck.
Right.
We think you might too. And
here we are.
Here we are. And so, yeah, we were very fortunate that the community truly opened itself up to us.
Well, we are very thankful that you're a part of the community because truly, I think any neighborhood, community, like you said, you need a place for people to meet in this virtual world we're living in, for people to say hello to their neighbor. And I think that's one of the greatest things about the Landing becoming a neighborhood is it really is, you see your neighbors at the Cobblestone, you run into your neighbor at the, getting a coffee. And so you definitely have been an instrumental part of being that kind of anchor. I always reference the Cobblestone as kind of the neighborhood hub.
And we call it a community hub. We actually do. I've dubbed that for us. But that truly, that was the one thing I knew if I was going to go back into any type of business, is that it needed to be grounded in the community. That was truly like the only thing I knew was that it will be community based. It will be there for a reason, and it will serve the needs of the community.
I love that.
And I think one of the coolest things truly about like the Cobblestone in our community here on the Landing is that it has truly evolved, like you were saying earlier.
Yes.
And it is continuing to evolve. So like now we're a venue space, right? And we partner with Art Fusion Art Gallery that's right next door, right? And so we're able to really open up our doors to book clubs, to art galleries, to local artisans and food makers, and
right.
And
right, and it's a great space for someone working remotely to come in and
absolutely
and spend the morning working and having a coffee and just fosters those.
And that's what's been really fun too. So we actually have a couple regulars that will come in the morning and they're work from home. So they start their mornings working from home at the Cobblestone. They plug in, have their coffees, and then lunchtime comes, they finish. And then we actually have a couple regulars that are switched. So they finish their workday at the Cobblestone. And it's so fun to get to know your community. It's more than just like, oh, hey, it's a face. It's, hey, how's work going today? I heard that you were really frustrated earlier.
And it kind of becomes a little bit of your employees and staff, they're kind of like a family. And your mom is one of the Robin is one of the awesome staff members at the Cobblestone, and I feel like we've all created a kind of a friendship down here, and so we're all invested in each other's success.
That's literally the word that was popping in my head is we're invested in each other.
And I think when things are community minded, that is a root that grows a little bit differently than someone who's just kind of maybe just coming in to see where they can make the money and leave. So I think that's I really admire that as being part of your mission.
Thank you. I think not to cut you off, so sorry. One thing that's been really, really cool too, I've always said this as well, my goal is with anybody that comes into our store to work for us, to shop with us, to just see us. We just ask that you leave better than when you were, right? Mm-hmm. In whatever capacity that is, whether that's because of us or because you found a ding dong, right? But truly, like that's the atmosphere that we want to create. And we've been very, very fortunate. Even some employees that we don't, or that are not currently with us, are still coming back.
I love that.
We're still invested. And I think that is just, it is such a cool thing. It makes everything worth it when you you're still a part of our community. We asked you to join us.
Yes.
And you were like, okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think in this world we're living in, the times we're living in, it becomes when one person kind of steps out and then the other person can follow. And then that really is how change happens is it takes one person to kind of lead the way. And so you've boldly done that down here. And
not without the help of the community.
Right. Well, exactly. But it's a really wonderful thing. You said something about perception, which I think is really an interesting point. In terms of St. Louis, we are, I feel like we're a little bit tribal, a little bit territorial. I'm from here, I'm from there, but then we all head out into the wild and travel to wherever we travel to. And when someone says, where are you from? You would say St. Louis, not Chesterfield or wherever.
The greater St. Louis
St. Louis area. So when you talk about, you mentioned, the perception of the landing. And I think for St. Louisans, it's interesting for, what I do for work is, hosting travelers and people that are coming here maybe for the first time, or maybe they have some preconceived notions. But from a St. Louisan's perspective, I think the topic of perception of the city, of downtown, of the landing itself is really interesting. So kind of share how your perception, maybe coming here, what did that entail for you? Was that a little bit of a fear, or was it did I see the potential? Kind of, if you can share.
It was terrifying, Rachel.
Hey, I love it. Blunt, I love it.
Very
lay it out
the
there.
End, period.
Yeah.
We're done. No, it truly was terrifying. But the perception originally was like, there's no way that anything is going to work, right? And then when I came down and everything was under construction, I mean, the roads up here, they were redoing the pipes.
That's right, because for a lot of people that may not know, the landing is all cobblestone streets, and then as part of the revitalization, which I think is really wise, is they took the east-west roads and paved them with concrete, and then the north-south roads are still the traditional cobblestone, which is beautiful, but it's a thing in and of itself. So when you're saying, well, how are people going to get down here? Where are they going to park? Is that
it was no one's going to come down here. Everybody goes to the stadium or, for hockey or, events only, and then they just leave. And I went to high school in the county, and so like that's just kind of what we did. Now, I was very fortunate. My family, while we were growing up here in St. Louis, my mother specifically was very adamant on exploring everything. So, but still, even with that, right? And we were down here a lot, and we took public transportation because, it's there. That's what it's there for, right? My perception still was, well, it's not safe anymore. And so there wasn't a lot of news about the revitalization of the landing either. And so I think that was, the perception was just like, it's dilapidated. No one knew anything, right? And so the perception still is that the landing is not safe.
Right.
But so when we first were looking down here, I mean, I didn't tell anybody that I was looking at the landing for a while.
He said, I am not going to listen to these naysayers.
Truly, like my husband's like, have you told people yet? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, well, why not? You know, and he's like trying to get everybody like really excited. And he's like, the landing, it's revitalized, it's back, you know, and I'm like,
Oh, I am the worst self-promoter. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this little thing over here.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll come. Yeah.
But I was just like, it's just, we're not quite there, right? And I just kept thinking like, okay, we just need to wait. And then the perception, again, my perception was it was unsafe until I got down here and I was like, I really do understand. I see the vision. One thing that really sold it for me, honestly, when I was talking with Advantis Group is the lofts. I was like, oh, okay, everybody's doing lofts right now, right? But it's that each loft has a different layout.
Right.
And I thought, oh, so you're thinking ahead, right? This is not just a short-term 10-year thing and then we'll see what happens. It was longevity.
Right.
And for me, as a St. Louisan, and looking to invest in my community, I was looking for something that had longevity, that truly was going to be here. And the history of the landing is incredible, just in general, but that perception was, right, somebody else is going to come in, and they're going to try something, and then it's not going to work, and then we're going to be stuck with more empty buildings. That was the perception. It's unsafe, it's unclean. And so then when I was like, okay, maybe. I think, yes, I see this. Okay, let's invest in this, in this community. It was terrifying. But from day one, when I knocked on those doors, every door that answered, every focus group that people showed up to, every marketing pitch, every, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, can y'all help me meeting? Every time my perception shifted. So
the community was showing up and people were...
They were showing up. That's exactly it. The community showing up showed me that my perception not only was like very wrong, right? Thankfully, right? But that it was nothing to be scared of.
That's incredible. It really is. And kind of a proof of, still scared. And I think that's kind of the journey of any entrepreneur too, is you're always thinking, is this going to work? Or what if I have a bad month? Or, all the variables.
Oh my gosh, yes. And
1,000 variables.
I left a corporate job and my husband ended up starting a business around the same time. And oh, hey, by the way, I had just had a baby. So
you really decided to just add one more thing.
We were like, whoops, all right, but when you feel the call of the community, like when it's right.
Well, and then in those times when, then that those people are going to support you through whatever might come in, because you are such an anchor to the community. So I love to hear how that perception, because conversations that I've had with people about the landing, and it's pretty much, it's funny. I can almost predict it before it comes out of their mouth. For St. Louisan, you see someone maybe you haven't seen in a long time. Oh, what are you up to? Oh, where are you living these days? The landing. And they're
what?
Like, it is truly this kind of like puzzled cock of the head, and then kind of like whatever I say next, I don't want to offend this person and so it's funny how that is and then it immediately pivots to, I remember when, and then they go into Banana Joe's, Club Buca, Morgan Street, and it's just this litany of memories, which I adore because I have plenty of my own of hanging off the balcony at Morgan Street back in the day.
Ditto.
But it, so for me, that perception, I feel like one of our key challenges, I think it's definitely can be overcome, but is changing that perception and letting people know that this riverfront in any other city, the riverfront is the mecca for activity, for entertainment.
It's a working river.
It's a working river, and we are next door to a national monument. We have a national monument that I could walk there.
We timed it.
So, we have all of these assets. And so, I get it. Economic downturns, there's been many contributing factors to maybe the perceptions or where greater downtown is right now. But, at the same time, while it can feel very overwhelming, I feel like I've never been more optimistic about what is possible.
Oh, I love to hear that.
So I really love to have these types of conversations about perception, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions or perceptions that may not be totally grounded in reality in terms of safety, in terms of what's here. And so, we're kind of like the new pioneers of the landing.
Yes.
So, so I really appreciate you kind of sharing that, that insight on how you overcame something that might have felt like, I don't know how I'm going to run this business or start this business.
Well, like one thing too that's really fun for us that you hit on was, like when you tell somebody like, oh, the landing. My favorite thing is when somebody ends up truly stumbling down here, like upon, because they're like, we didn't know that you were here. I'm like, well, yeah, we're in a corner. I get it. They're like, the last time I was down here, Mississippi Nights and whatever.
Yep.
And they're like, is this safe for you? I'm like, well, when was the last time that you were down here?
Right.
15 years, 20 years. I'm like, y'all, I understand, because I was the same, right? And all of a sudden they're like looking around. I'm like, we have hanging flower baskets on the lampposts, y'all. It's adorable here. It's safe. It is clean. And it is a community place. And then we get to, what's so fun is we get to be like, there's a ton of lofts. And there's even Airbnb or something, conventions. And, then we get to talk about, like, by the way, you and Joel just amaze me. I have to say it. I'm going to say it. Like, talk about pioneers and talk about anchoring into a community. Yeah. Talk about investing. Holy cow.
We're trying. Yeah.
Oh my word, you're doing.
But it's really, the evolution of our business has been really kind of, hey, where there's a need here, the rental market kind of softened. So how can we capitalize on that, but also create a ton of value? And so what we're finding is, the travelers and the tourists that are coming here, their perception is so different than a local perspective. And I don't want to lump all St. Louisans in the same group, but I think that is the
general.
That perception, now I've said perception like 18,000 times, but I feel like that has, it just keeps showing up, and I'm kind of tired. Like, I think we need to move along from that.
We get it.
So it's been very, very refreshing to see a traveler, a convention, or someone who's maybe never been here before. They're showing up to check into a furnished rental, and they're like, where am I? And by and large, their feedback is they're blown away by the architecture, the brick buildings, the access to the riverfront, the access to the arch, the convenience to the convention center, the dome, kind of greater downtown kind of that the convention support. So it's been really very reaffirming to get that feedback on the reviews. And your business has been such an integral part of what we do, because we're able to, as the neighborhood is growing and as we're trying to attract more business and commercial operators, to be able to send them to the Cobblestone, know they're going to be taken care of, very friendly. They could grab a cocktail at happy hour, grab a sandwich, get some groceries for whatever, that's been really huge. So it is interesting the lens that people look through. So I am very hopeful and optimistic that as the perception of downtown changes, more local people will come along and want to be part of it, because this riverfront truly is like no other. And it's possible. So
it's possible. And like, truly, it's possible, and you're doing it, and we're doing it. Right?
We're doing it together.
Yes,
we're doing it together.
It's a humbling experience.
Because we all genuinely have the same goal in mind, is to revitalize the downtown riverfront, to capitalize on having a national monument, to having this historic neighborhood. The history of the landing, there's There's the good, bad, and the ugly, but it really is the a true American story of the westward expansion and the Eads Bridge.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a bit of a dork about the Eads Bridge and how that all came and that
Our
it's
poor
still
customers,
standing.
Yeah. I'm like, here's a pamphlet that I wrote by myself, by the way. On the
right. And so it's I think we all, but that bringing the entities together. So National Park Service, Metro, the MetroLink runs right across the East Bridge, and we're a stop on the Metro. So, people from the Metro East or people that out west could easily get here. So that's I love to see the momentum in terms of the revitalization that the entities are starting to work together. And I see the Cobblestone is such a hub for people to meet for coffee meetings. And I just love kind of feel like when you walk in there, you see things are happening, conversations are being had. And so I think, all of that is headed in a really, really positive direction.
I agree with you. I agree. And thank you. But I definitely, again, it's like-minded people with the same goal now being able to finally come together, right? So we were talking earlier about silos. Like that is, it is, I was talking to somebody the other day and I said silos, and they're like, silos? And I was like, that is very much a landing thing now. We all say collectively like, well, we're talking about things, but it's true, right? St. Louis has all these different counties and communities and within the city even, right? But they're all different silos, and everybody together is going, well, we want more and we want to be more of a community. But then we stay in our little silos, right? And so it's been really cool seeing now is that perception is shifting. Is, people have forgotten about the landing. And so now, it's just a really cool feeling to see people coming in and going, oh, I forgot about the landing, or I didn't know that this now existed.
That's a very common thing here. Like, oh, I didn't know. I just didn't know. So that's a big goal of what we're trying to have these conversations is letting people know.
And it's so
there is something happening here.
There is something happening, and it's viable.
Right.
And people are starting to see that and realize that, and now they're asking how they can be a part of it. And that is so cool. And it's such a great thing to see, because now we're going like, okay, hey, maybe you're not going to stay in your silo.
Right. Well, I think as a St. Louis, and I think really anyone, you take pride in where you're from. Most people do, I would say. And I think not to compare to St. Louis to other cities, but I do find that most cities, the downtown is the economic driver. Downtown is the hub for industry and corporate headquarters and entertainment. Exactly. Professional sports team. We have the Cardinals, the Battlehawks. We have all this going on. So I feel like most people, if you were to give them maybe a blind survey about a downtown area, they would be like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yes.
Like, we want this to be really awesome. So I think the challenge is trying to reframe people's, again, back to the perception, but reframe it as, let's be part of the solution, not the problem. And I think sometimes the St. Louis, the locals, we can be the most detrimental to progress because we stay in these silos and we say, oh, well, that's not my problem, or, oh, good luck with that. Where I think if we're all really honest with ourselves, we want downtown to be great. If you go to a Cardinal game, don't you want to have 10 different bars and restaurants to choose from? If you are coming in for the holidays, don't you want to have cool windows with decor and all of those things? We all want that, I think. So how do we then come together? So, that's I want to find a way to change that conversation to be more solution focused than problem focused, because that crime narrative, the vacant building, yes, I'm not denying that there are issues and problems, but by and large, as someone who is down here every day, same with you realize, well, that's not exactly the reality. It's not really even close to the reality. So while there are problems, let's all be a part of the solution. Yeah.
And I think too with exactly, but truly also to piggyback on that, everybody wants everybody wants to solve it. Everybody wants to find the solution, but no one knows how to have the conversation or what to start with, right? I think that's the biggest thing is what is the starter? How do we start helping? And I'm excited to see that question being asked more and more.
Yeah.
You know, when people say, well, what can we do? How can we support the Cobblestone? I say, well, you should support the landing. First and foremost, you need to support the landing. And the way that you do that is you show up.
Yep.
That is my blanketed statement. I have never deviated from that. Show up.
Show up.
And people have actually gone, oh.
Right.
I'm like, yes, of course, give us your money.
Right.
Sure, let's be real, right? But show up.
Yeah.
Show up and then continue to show up and bring more people.
It's so true because if you want downtown to be something, well, then you have to support the businesses that are actually trying to do something.
And
you know, you've got to show up. Right.
There are so many entrepreneurs, but like true St. Louisans who, by the way, might not have even been born here, but have now stayed. That is a really cool thing about St. Louis, by the way.
Right.
So many transplants ended up just staying here. I'm from Louisiana originally. Came up when Jefferson Barracks was actually still a working base and everything. But like we ended up staying here, and I have been fortunate enough to be able to travel the world some. And I remember being like, I'm not staying in St. Louis. I'm going to move somewhere else.
Right.
Here we are.
Here we are.
My husband was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and but truly, you fall in love with St. Louis, right? And so now people are like, well, we want to see our city thrive more. We want to see downtown be something more, or better yet, what we remember it being or what we heard it used to be like. And I think that is the anchor that we really need to remind people is, hey,
it is possible.
It is possible. Let's get back to what we remember. Like, let's do that and build on it.
And build on it, right?
Like, that's how you get progress.
Absolutely.
That's how momentum happens, but that's also how you create something that is, again, viable and long lasting. And the longevity of downtown only happens if you show up.
Showing up.
Have the conversations. You don't know what that conversation is, just ask, how do I start?
Well, it's amazing having those conversations with people and really connecting. And I do think that's a common sentiment. There are the naysayers and those people I've just kind of moved on from, but there are a lot of people that really, I think it's just a lack of awareness. And then once they are aware, it's like, well, that sounds pretty cool. And then I think that tie to a memory or a feeling or an era of your life where the landing was kind of your jam.
Yeah.
And not that we're, the goal here is to turn it back into a club district or anything, but to create a place where tourists and locals can come to dine and have a night out, go to the Arch, come in and have a coffee and a sandwich, grab some groceries. And then also just want to plug this, that you also will do picnic baskets for people that want to go to the Arch. I think this is awesome. You could go to the Cobblestone and do a kind of a little picnic basket.
Yeah, our baskets.
When the weather starts getting nicer.
Yeah, we provide a picnic blanket too. You purchase the basket.
Fantastic.
You can customize it or just pick one up from us. And then what's really fun for us is if you bring the basket, like if you come back again to have another picnic, it's just 20% off your whole purchase.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we do canned wine because you can't have glass in national parks, y'all. Don't do it.
Canned?
So we have canned and stuff like that.
Well, you really have a really lovely curated selection of things for people that actually live here and might want, regular things, but people that, the things that a person who might be shopping for their own home or just someone who wants to have grab and go things, it's the perfect spot to grab that stuff. Yeah.
That was a struggle, to be honest.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But we were very honest. Very honest up front. I was like, y'all, I don't know what I'm doing here. So I'm going to really need...
Well, it's great that you've given
lean on the support of the community. You have to let me know what you
Yeah.
want to see.
And that you've given yourself the flexibility or the ability to pivot if you need to,
Yeah.
like, and then kind of adjust for what the demand is. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably been quite challenging at times.
Terrifying.
Knowing that, like, well, I don't know how many people are really going to shop here,
Mm-hmm.
or people are just coming in to get a sandwich and
Yeah.
and then all of those things.
Yeah, the
So-
margins are, again, terrifying.
Right.
But again, our community makes it.
Yeah.
Our community makes it the end.
Mhm.
It's funny though too. Again, perception, but like what we remember about like the landing. This is something that was really cool when I was originally walking with Advantis Group and figuring out, is this space, the landing, is it like, what is it going to be?
Mhm.
And I was walking down on the riverfront and I had like just an overwhelming nostalgia. I was walking on the cobblestones down there on the riverfront
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember the landing as a child, not hitting up the bar scene and stuff, but I remember as a child, we were parked on that cobblestone down by the riverfront.
Yeah.
I remember
At an angle, your car's at an
yes,
angle.
and we were like, we're gonna go into the river, but thinking it was the coolest thing, because
Uh-huh.
our parents are like, calm down, right?
Right.
We're not going to, but we're like, we're so
And as a
cool.
kid, that was pretty cool.
It was so cool. And walking over like the really big boat ropes and stuff and thinking like those are massive and
Mhm.
walking up the steps and then boom, you're at the VP fair.
Mhm.
I remember before the grounds or what the grounds are now in the arch grounds.
Right.
But like I remember it was like a weekend event, the VP fair for 4th of July. Like that was what you did.
Mhm.
And they had like a mini carnival set up there, right?
So you have these very
vivid,
palpable, vivid
yes.
connection, positive memories.
Positive memories where it's like, it's not just like the landing, but like that was my first, I guess that was my first real experience on the landing. And I had forgotten about it until I was walking it.
And it came back.
And it came back and I was like, that's right, we used to do that. Like
Mhm.
and then that's when I was like, oh my gosh, we used to ride the metro. Well, we would ride the bus. We rode the train. Like
Mhm.
we did all of that stuff.
Right.
And then just because how life is over time, it just kind of fell to the
yeah.
wayside, right?
Yeah.
But then like, I also remember being a part of the problem, right?
I think we all.
we were
I think we all can.
right?
Yeah.
Because that type of district just isn't what this community needs.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to bring back maybe Mississippi Nights or that entertainment district that is much needed
Mm-hmm.
and truly rooted
Mm-hmm.
in the culture of the landing, like that's pretty cool.
So with it being the anniversary of the start of Route 66, I should probably know this, but very meaningful in terms of how the United States developed, and St. Louis was just right there.
Yeah.
So I see the landing also has great potential for, historical tourism. So people that really are interested in, I've received that feedback, like, oh my gosh, the history, what was this building? People want to know. And so for instance, one of the buildings down the street was part of the whiskey ring back in the Prohibition era.
Or like Clay Morgan Alley.
There's, there's just so much dripping with history. And I always feel like, if these walls could talk. So I feel like the landing has a great opportunity to attract, people that are that historical tourism. I just coined a term, historical tourism. I don't know if that's a thing, but I think it should be. But the history of these buildings, the bridge, the riverfront, there's some really terrible history that happened here.
That needs to be
that
talked about.
also needs to be talked about. But I think that all of those stories, the more that people understand, the more you know, the more you can appreciate. Or the more you understand, the more that you can...
the better you do.
I want more people to engage in what's going on. I understand we're all busy lives where our resources are stretched thin, but St. Louis really, you can come here from out of town and have a great time, or you can live here and come down and have and see it from just a totally different perspective. And
that's the point, right?
And that's the point. I know, I'll speak for myself. I have greatly taken for granted that we have a national monument in our backyard. And a fun little fact is that it is the largest national monument and the smallest actual park. So
It's so fun.
save that away for your next trivia night question that might pop up. But I didn't know that, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I'm
Blown
just
away.
in awe of it every time I see it.
I nerd out hard.
And then I was really encouraged too that the Go St. Louis race series, their marathon, which should be coming up here in the spring, I think it's in April. I'm hopeful that they kept the same race course. So they changed the race course and it actually runs through the arch grounds. It's exciting to see other people saying, you know, we have this riverfront. We have this national monument. How do we activate it? How do we get people excited and see it from a different perspective?
Yeah.
So.
And like for us, we're like, it's easy.
Yeah, right.
Is it just come?
Right.
All you have to do is show up, right?
Get involved.
Just get involved. And step one is just showing up.
If you had a crystal ball, how do you see your business in 5 years? 5 years.
Still there.
Right. Still there, right. I know. Every entrepreneur is still in business. We'll start with that.
Jokes aside, honestly, what it is now is pretty much what I see. And that might be short-sighted of me, to be honest. Our community has created such a space, like such a community hub, such a wonderful space. Like we're a venue space, we're a workplace, we're a fun place, we're a food place, we're a coffee place.
It has a little bit of it's not a bar, but it has a bit of a Cheers feel. Like you do feel like when you go there that someone might shout out, Rachel, and it has happened before. And that goes a long way. You do make, I know that you truly try to make everyone who comes through that door feel welcome, loved, fed, and part of the community.
Everybody has a spot. Everybody has a place. And I firmly believe that it is a right, not a privilege, but is a human right to feel wanted and to feel safe.
Amen, sister.
Amen.
Cheers.
And I'll get emotional about it every time I think about it, every time I speak about it, because
absolutely,
especially right now when everything is like so crazy. We always say that, but that's what I expect in 5 years is people to still have that. Right? Like that is the most important thing. That is why the Cobblestone exists. And
why I think you've been so successful as you have thus far is
thank you.
Truly. It's creating community spaces, I think, is what's going to see us through these challenging times. And bringing people together.
Yeah. Bringing people together. You have to... we said it earlier. A community is bringing people together. Truly, what we say at the Cobblestone is we have a table and we just ask that you sit at it. That's it, man. You don't have to sit next to the person you don't like.
Right.
But you're sure as heck going to sit at the same table.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Because that is how a community truly grows and thrives. And so in 5 years, what I hope to see with the Cobblestone specifically is that we are still first and foremost community driven. Our motto is accessibility and community.
Love that.
I never want to stray from that. And I have been very, very humbled daily in the best way possible and reminded, and I'm not kidding, daily, why we are here.
I so appreciate you sitting down and, kind of sharing your story, your heart, your mission. I think, the transparency, that's also where people connect.
Oh, yeah.
The community is built when people just being really, really open and coming from a place of integrity and just, we do acknowledging that what maybe the issues are and then coming at it from a let's work together. And I think at the Cobblestone, you're really living that mission. You're a dedicated business owner who I'm sure will see great success. And I just thank you for being a part of the landing and what is yet to come.
Thank you for having us. And truly, again, it's not just our community, but my immediate community is really what's helped shape me. I'm very lucky to have mentors in my life, and my investment group who I know you've met, like all of them, just the Cobblestone would not be here without them.
Yeah.
You know,
Other
and
people
so
that are
other
that are
people.
believing in what you're trying to do,
Yes.
believe in the neighborhood.
Yes. And
believe
so
in-
it's not just me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, thanks. But it's, you know, I'm not the Cobblestone. And I think that's something that I really want to drive home with people is thank you. I appreciate that my name has been a part of the Cobblestone, because that's really cool. I'm like, oh my God, that's my name.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's
Well, you're in
the
there
people
every day doing the
behind
work.
me that are allowing me to do that. And then truly it's our community that is the Cobblestone.
Yeah. Okay, so for people that are coming downtown, you're at the corner of First and Lucas.
Yes.
And it's the Cobblestone STL. They're open 7 days a week. Coffee, sandwiches, salads, prepared foods, groceries, wine, you name it. They
bar.
have it. I always direct people to Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Yeah, it's the _Cobblestone _STL. So the
Okay.
Cobblestone STL. Thank you.